Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, the Most High is flooding the earth with knowledge and understanding. And with this overwhelming amount of knowledge and understanding, it just shows you how close we are to the end of their rope. You know, it's pretty amazing to see how people keep looking for anything, any event, and try to tie it to biblical prophecy. You know, we're looking at, someone was talking about the 3 days of darkness, and because of all the people who lost power in Louisiana and New Orleans, and talking about the 3 days of darkness. You know, this is what happens when people say they love the Bible. They say we're rooted in the Bible and things like that, but they really refuse to look at the scriptures and look at history and see which events fulfill, the prophecies of the Bible. See, we're going to get into, we got a lot of people that are Bible only, not just in the Hebrew community, but hey, even in the Christian community, that's all they want is the Bible, the Bible, the Bible. Well, we're going to prove tonight that a lot of these events and revelations that they're looking forward to being fulfilled have already happened. And we're going to use the Bible, and we're going to use the precepts that were in the Bible that were taken out. See, it's starting to become more evident as to why they took out these precepts from these older Bibles. Because these precepts show you that these events already took place. These events that they keep on making people think to look forward to have already happened. And you're going to be amazed to see how, I'm going to use this older Bible from the early 1800s with the precepts and what it's going to show you about Revelation and the pale horse and the Gentiles coming over here to the Americas. Is going to confirm that already happened. And it's going to confirm what was written in the Book of Mormon. And let's see here. And 1 Nephi 13 is going to confirm that as well. See, if you don't look to the past and you refuse to look to the past, that's the only way that you can keep on thinking that all of these events are something that's going to happen in the future. What's coming in the future is the destruction of the Psalms 83 Confederacy. The Gentiles that were against us, as well as the 2/3 that have been, used against us as well. That's what you're seeing coming right now. The curses switching. And Sister Lisa Cabrera, it was funny. I was listening to her video and she was talking about how, every time the Gentiles do something, it's like the Most High hits the opposite button. They have all these plans and the opposite happens. Like the Most High is up there just hitting the opposite button. Whatever you guys think is going to happen, he hits that opposite button and the opposite thing's happening. You guys think that you're going to be able to continue with your society? It's a society. The opposite button is hit. And now you're starting to see things are getting worse and worse. If you do these certain things, we can get back to life as normal. Most High's up there, hits that opposite button, and whatever it was you had planned, the opposite is what's working out. So we're going to use the scriptures, because we have a lot of people who are Bible only. I'm going to use the Bible predominantly, not only, but predominantly. And I'm going to show you with the scriptures, with the precepts that were already written in the Bible that were taken out by the Gentiles. See, the Gentiles took all these out with no authority, but they took them out so that they can continue with the lie going forward. They took it out so they can continue with the days of Noah that you're living in right now. The ones that are now have gotten the fullness of the gospel, they understand that many of these prophecies have already taken place, and that there's new prophecies being fulfilled today. That's the problem with many in the world right now. They don't realize that there's new prophecies that are being fulfilled. We had more than the prophecies that are written in the Bible. We have more prophecies. The Most High told our people, he gave to Enoch, he gave him everything from the beginning to the end. So there's other prophecies that the 10 tribes had written down that needed to be fulfilled as well. We know the 400 years has been fulfilled. That's why everything changed after 2019. The Gentiles know this as well. But see, they try to take a lot of these events and make it seem as if they're the ones orchestrating these events. But it's not them. It's the Most High. People want to believe that the Gentiles have all these events orchestrated. But see, we understand that everything's changed after 2019. Especially we got to March 2020, the first shutdown, and nothing's been the same ever since. Everything's gotten worse and worse. We understand Genesis 15 and 13. Then the Lord said to Abram, know for certain that for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated there. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions. Now, it looks like there, it says that for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own. We had our country taken away from us, and we've been treated as if we are strangers here. Just like we're talking about the Gentiles and how the other Gentiles can come from other nations, and they get the programs, they get the help, but not us, not the Aborigines. We're the Aboriginals here, and we don't get any help because we were treated as strangers, aliens, outcasts. So it's not all about color. People all want, they're trying to, bring our awakening down to just it's about all black people and all white people. No, it's not. It's about the ones that the Most High has chosen and the ones he's not chosen. The ones that he's awakened and the ones he's left asleep. That's what this is all about. But see, that's what happens with the devil. He's always trying to oversimplify things, oversimplify arguments, because, they're dealing with what? Very little knowledge. They don't study. They don't read. You got to keep it simple. Like KISS, keep it simple, stupid. You got to keep it simple for them. Don't, you know what? Those Hebrews, there's all about, they're racist. They're racist. Don't listen to them. Even though, we're not. But you'll listen to a society that's built on racism, and you'll trust everything that they say, even though they built a society based off of racism, based off of slavery, based off of making our people 3/5 of a man. But you won't question them. You won't question their motives. You won't question their history and their actions. But see, this is exactly what the Most High said was going to happen, and this is exactly what you're seeing happening. 400 years, your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated there. And that's exactly what's been happening. That's why we don't get ahead, because we were going to be enslaved and then mistreated for this time. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves. That's what you're seeing right now. That's why people are like, why aren't things getting any better? What's going on? They just don't have any idea what's going on, because the devil has hidden this from you. He's hidden this understanding from you. The Most High is allowing some to see it. But this is why things will not get better. This is why when you're seeing Ida hitting on the 16th anniversary of Katrina, 1 + 6 is 7, spiritual completion, spiritual perfection. The Most High is showing you that these things are not random. These events are not random. These are all ordained by the Father. This is why things will not get better. Things are getting nothing but worse every day. The things that they put their faith in, the Most High is hitting that opposite button and showing that those things are going to be for naught. They're not going to work. You're not going to be able to ignore your way out of this punishment that's coming. Afterwards, they will come out with great possessions. See, we don't need, this is exactly why I'm talking to people about, we don't need a handout. Everything is ours. We don't need to start to act like or be like the other nations and, and see how they work together and this and that. Yes, they work together because they've stolen our stuff. They work together because that's part of their Psalms 83 confederacy against us. As long as they went against us, no problem. They will work together. That's why they got where they're at. That's why they got the things that they have. Not because they're so smart. It's because we were serving our punishment, which is now over. So we're going to come up with great possessions because there are possessions. And we don't have to go to them, the other nations, and ask them, can you please give us back? No, the Most High is going to take care of that. Just have faith and believe. Now, something else I'm seeing, before we get into the regular lesson, I want to talk about right here. The Most High is raising up his people, and they're bringing this truth. And the other nations are seeing it. It is truth that they cannot contend with. It is truth that they cannot prove wrong. And the Most High is going every day and confirming the things that we say. He's confirming the fact that this country, this world is cursed. That everything that they try to do doesn't work anymore. The Most High is proving that is the case. And these other nations are seeing it. So something that I found very amusing was that, okay, now you're starting to see them try to promote, some of these Gentiles are trying to promote so-called other black people. And as like, oh, look, this black guy right here, he's telling the truth. You should go check out his channel. You should go check out what he's saying. Because, he's confirming the things that I've said for a long time. You see, just rolling out another black face to push your white Christian doctrine isn't going to save you, isn't going to make your doctrine any more credible. I'm sure many of you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. He went and found a brother, black dude who kind of looks like us, got a beard, could kind of, pass for a Hebrew. But then he starts to give us his little breakdown of things, and you start hearing the Christianese coming out of it. Oh, we're the elect, the Christians, the church, we're the elect. They're starting to use our wording, but they try to apply it to their religion. You guys will know exactly who I'm talking about because you guys, we subscribe to him, and we've seen him recommending this guy. And a couple of other people are like, oh, yeah, I've recommended him too. I just found his channel. Yeah, his channel just showed up a few months ago. So you could tell, hey, we can't keep coming out here with these white people. We can't keep coming out here with these white pastors because they're not listening to us anymore. You know what? Any nigga will do. Just throw somebody out there. Just throw somebody that looks not like us anymore, and we'll try to get them to, if they're not gonna listen to us, just throw him out there. But we're gonna make sure he says the right things, and we're going to promote him because we can't keep letting them go to these Hebrews because they're just scaring the hell out of our people. They're scaring the hell out of our people because they're telling us these things. We can't prove them wrong. They're using the Bible. They're going all over the place. They're proving everything, and not only that, their power is proving it. See, it's not us. Most High gives us things to say, gives us things to bring out, and then He proves it right. See, they're like, well, we've been saying all these things, but none of it's coming true. These people are starting to question what the hell we're telling them. We've been telling them about the rapture and don't worry about these things, and now society's turning against us. Now we're not raptured. We're still here, and things are getting worse and worse. Our people are dying left and right. They're getting sick left and right. We told them that they had Psalms 91 coverage if they believe in Jesus. If they just say Jesus, nothing's going to happen to them, and God's going to protect them. And damn it, that's not happening. So the Most High chooses who He's going to use. And He raises His people up. He raises His teachers up. He raises His shepherds up. And you see, when the Most High tells them to do something, the Most High proves them right. So that's what I'm seeing now that, it's the same playbook. I was listening to the dude when he was preaching. He was talking about, it's funny, he was going to Daniel, talking about that, that we've been talking about for a while, talking about how, well, Most High chooses if He wants you to understand this or not, and He closes your ears if He doesn't want you to understand, and and if He doesn't, if He wants you to understand, He'll open your eyes to see it, using the same things that we've been talking about, but He relates it back to Christianity. One thing He's not talking about, though, what new information are you bringing out? If you're still pushing white Jesus, that's nothing new. Most High said our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And Most High said that there's going to be new books. Remember, He told Daniel to close up the books. And at the end, He was going to open the books back up and give new understanding. What exactly is this guy they're promoting bringing out that's new? Absolutely nothing. He's just regurgitating the things that we've been saying, but trying to apply them to Christianity. Old playbook, bruh. Not going to work. That would have worked before when we were blind. You can keep the 2/3. They can go listen to that dude all they want. But we can sniff that out a mile away now. We've seen that coming. That's just no different than the church. You're giving us the white pastor forever. All of a sudden, he kind of loses his credibility. So you just roll out a new black pastor out there. You try to find, we're bringing out all this truth. You can't contend with it. So you just roll out a black dude, throw a beard on him. Hey, dude, this should be enough for you guys. Look, he's got a beard. Damn it. He's sitting in his car. Okay. He's giving you guys a couple scriptures. Okay. But he's still talking about the same stuff we've been talking about. Mark of the beast is here. This is the mark of the beast is here right now. He's not talking about anything as far as happening in the past, as far as prophecy being fulfilled. He's not bringing forth any new information. So see, we're hip to the game now. We understand what's going on. He's going to have fringes next and everything else, but still pushing a Christian doctrine next time. Not going to work. So you'll know the true shepherds, the true people that are called by the Most High, by the information they're bringing out, how it actually goes with the scriptures and it goes with history, and the Most High will prove it right. Israel is God's prophetic time clock. The true Israelites. 400 years. Doesn't get any clearer than that. 1619, 2019, the switch. Israel, God's prophetic time clock. Doesn't get any clearer than that, does it? The Most High had me bring out the second stick over 2 years ago. Brother's been teaching it. Brother's been bringing out the sealed portion, teaching that. Brother's been bringing out, the sealed portion, Book of Mormon, Bible, other scriptures, bringing it all together. Sister's been working together, supporting this truth and bringing this truth out as well. The called out ones. Been pushing this truth now for a couple years. We are the prophetic time clock. This information is the prophetic time clock, because once we got this information out, started bringing it out, then the scourge has covered the lands, and it's got nothing but worse. No matter how much the Gentiles try to act as if, they got a handle on it, as you can see, every single day there's more information coming out that shows you, no, they don't. Because it said after the 400 years, the Most High was going to punish the nation that enslaved us and mistreated us. And that's exactly what you're seeing. You see, the other nations are trying to make up their own prophecy that doesn't fit with the scriptures. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. The house of God is the house of the Israelites. At our house, Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom. See, they tried to, hey, you're going to get your opportunity, you Gentiles and 2/3. You're going to get your opportunity to get that judgment as well. But see, this started for us a long time ago. But you guys try to make it sound as if it's something that's happening right now, or just barely going to happen right now. And that's what we're going to be getting into. See, this is what happens when you don't really understand scripture. That's why, these people trying to, hey, just any black guy will do, just roll him out here. Just roll him on out here. Just give him something so that, they stop listening to, Big Judah and Elder Ayal, and, give them somebody else, because if they keep listening to them, we're done, because we can't contend with the information that they're bringing out. You got all these Israelites now talking about other books, reading other books, and bringing us. There's more than just the Bible. That's just going to kill us, because we don't even really understand the Bible. Let's see, the Gentiles are saying we don't even understand the Bible, let alone the other books. How in the hell can we put all this together? We don't understand the Bible. So how can we connect that with the Book of Mormon and the sealed portion and Book of Enoch and Jasher and we don't even understand these books. They're not our books, so we don't even understand. So what do? And when you understand that they don't even they can't contend. They don't understand these books. They don't have the understanding. So therefore, they can't contend with us. See, the time has come that the judgment must begin at the house of God. What you have to understand is that Israel is chastised and punished first. Then the other nations have no excuse when their punishment comes. Let's get a couple of scriptures on that. Real quick. Let me go to Hebrews 12:6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. Most High does this. He's been doing this to us. Okay? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 30:1. Ecclesiasticus 30:1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. Prophecy being fulfilled right now. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. We've been going through our punishment. We have felt the rod. Why is that? That he may have joy of him in the end. So the Most High can have joy with us at the end. Baruch 4:25. My children, Suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from God. For thine enemy hath persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shalt tread upon his neck. See, this is why, you just can't roll out just any black dude and think that he's going to appease the masses, or he's going to appease the blind masses. But the ones that are elected, the ones that are called, the ones that have their eyes open, see, we're looking for substance. We're looking for you to bring the scriptures, to bring the receipts, to prove what you say. We would go into Second Baruch, but we won't do that right now. Let's go into Second Maccabees. Second Maccabees 6, and we'll go 12 through 15. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. Okay? Lest that being come to the height of sin afterwards, he should take vengeance of us. Okay? And therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. He punishes us little by little. He punishes us and it brings us back. Punishes us, brings us back. But for the Gentiles, he allows them to continue and build up that punishment that's going to come to them. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. He punishes us first, then waits to punish the rest with a huge destruction. So when you understand this concept, this whole thing about Revelation just happening right now, and that, this is all talking about the house of God, that's the church. This was not the church. This is not what Peter was talking about. He was not talking about your Christian churches. He was talking about the Most High's people and the things we were going to have to go through. And it was going to have to be for a time. See, the churches have to hide all this information. They have to hide this information. We're going to read one more here. Psalms of Solomon. Happy is the man whom the Lord remembers with rebuking, and protects from the evil way with the whip, that he may be cleansed. That's the Psalms of Solomon, chapter 10, verses 1 and 2. Happy is the man whom the Lord remembers with rebuking, and protects from the evil way with the whip, that he may be cleansed. That's why things never really worked out for us. When we were trying to get into the world and be part of the world, and these things never really worked out, and we were always kind of like this horrible luck and stuff like that, because the Most High was remembering us with rebuking and protecting us from the evil way with that whip, so that at the end, right now, we could be cleansed, we could be called back, we could be called back into the fold. Now we're going to get into the scriptures, and we're not going to get into it like the way the Gentiles do, by reading you just one little scripture and then giving you my breakdown and giving you a couple stories. We're going to show you right here what was truly intended, okay, before the Gentiles started taking all of these precepts out. Revelation 6 and 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. We've talked about this before. The fourth part is the Americas. The Gentiles already had the three parts. They already knew about the three parts. The fourth part they were not allowed to come to. They were separated. These lands were holy. Most High made a covenant with the northern kingdom, and that's talked about in the Book of Mormon. But this tells you right here, Ezekiel, the connection right here is with Ezekiel 1, 4, and 13. Okay? So we're going to go there real quick and look at what it's talking about right here. So pretty much that whole verse of 8 goes with Ezekiel 1, 4, and 13. Okay? So, a little example of probably what the Gentiles saw when they came over here to the new world, a whole world where, they had never seen before. They were never accustomed to seeing these kinds of things because it was, the land flowing with milk and honey. And they talked about how, the Spaniards that got here and they saw Tenochtitlan, and they talked about how amazing it was, how advanced it was, how it was things they'd never seen before. And we know, they were seeing buildings and technology and things like that they had never seen before. But historians, it's they were just running around naked. They didn't have anything. They didn't know anything. The typical, the usual. So here we go. Ezekiel 1 and 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Okay, all right, but let's see what these other precepts are all about. Daniel 8 and 3. You got Nahum 1 and 3, and you got Habakkuk 1 and 8, and you got Psalms 51 and 4. We're just going to take a look at just a couple of these, okay? Let's take a look at Daniel 8 and 3. We'll come back there a little bit. Daniel 8 and 3. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns. And the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. Now we know the rams and the goats represent Esau, the Edomites. So now we're talking about the ram right here. 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. Let's look at 4. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will, and became great. Is this not what happened? Is this not what happened with the Gentiles? Did they not get the blessing? Were they not allowed to come over here and destroy the Most High's chosen people? Now, the 2 horns and one were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. To me, I mean, that could be, this is my opinion, the Roman Empire. And you got the Roman Empire, the 2 legs, okay? And they were used to destroy the Southern Kingdom. Yeah, the Southern Kingdom. And then they came over here. They were revived Roman Empire, and they were allowed to destroy the Northern Kingdom. And at the end, they were revived. They were even stronger. They took over more land. So they were to take over the whole world at this time. The whole world is dominated by Rome, by the Catholic Church. They call all these hard houses different things. They're still Catholics. But as you can see right here, this is all part of prophecy. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward. So ram Edomites came over to the west. Most High brought them over to the west. Once they got over here, they pushed up northward. got into the what are now called the Americas and Canada. Southward down to Mexico, South America, all that. They took over everything, right? But these were the blessings of the Gentiles. And I'll just read a little bit from the Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi 13. This is all part of prophecy right here. Let's see. Let's start 1 Nephi 13 and 11. Actually, no. Well, it's actually 1 Nephi 13 and 10. And it came to pass that I looked and beheld many waters, and they divided the Gentiles from the seed of my brethren. And it came to pass that the angel said unto me, Behold, the wrath of God is upon the seed of thy brethren. And I looked and beheld a man among the Gentiles, who was separated from the seed of my brethren by the many waters. And I beheld the Spirit of God, that it came down and wrought upon the man. And he went forth upon the many waters, even unto the seed of my brethren, who were in the promised land. And it came to pass that I beheld the Spirit of God, that it wrought upon the Gentiles, and they went forth out of captivity upon the many waters. And it came to pass that I beheld many multitudes of the Gentiles upon the land of promise. And I beheld the wrath of God, that was upon the seed of my brethren, and they were scattered before the Gentiles, and were smitten. And I beheld the Spirit of the Lord, that was upon the Gentiles, and they did prosper, and obtained the land for their inheritance. Okay? And I beheld that they were white and exceedingly fair and beautiful, like unto my people before they were slain. But the whole point is that the Most High, and I beheld the Spirit of the Lord, that it was upon the Gentiles, and they did prosper and obtained the land for their inheritance. So that goes right here with Daniel 8. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will and became great. Prophecy already being fulfilled way back in 1492. Revelation 6 and 8 being fulfilled way back then. But see, they are ignoring it to their own peril. Take a look here. From the NIV, Daniel 8 and 3 and 4. I looked up, and there before me was a ram with two horns, standing beside the canal. And the horns were long. One of the horns was longer than the other, but grew up later. I watched the ram as it charged toward the west, and the north, and the south. No animal could stand against it, and none could rescue from its power. It did as it pleased, and became great. These are what the precepts are showing you. These precepts are showing you that this is what happened. That the Christopher Columbus and the Gentiles coming here was fulfilling prophecy. And see, that's what when the Gentiles trot out on someone else that looks like us, and they just say pretty much just regurgitate the same things that they say. This shows you that they don't have any understanding. They don't see these historical events as being fulfillments of prophecy. They won't see it, can't see it, but they're going to see it when the Most High cracks those skies open and they see that judgment is here. Next is Habakkuk 1 and 8. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. So now we're talking about horsemen, horses being brought over, the beasts that are being used to destroy our people. Oh, yes. This is referenced also right there in those precepts in Ezekiel 1 and 4. See, the Gentiles love to talk about how they introduced horses here, and there weren't any horses here, and and then they use those to destroy the natives. Oh yes, they're very proud. Let's see how proud they are now that we can actually use the scriptures to show how they were just the demons that were being used to bring punishment on our people, and that there's a payment that is now due for that. See, these are the precepts that were in the Bible. So look at that again. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. They're coming from far. They're coming from the other side of the ocean, the great waters. Look at 9. They shall come all for violence. Their faces shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand. And they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it. Then shall his mind change, and he shall pass over and offend, in putting this his power unto his God. See, they're worshiping their God. They're worshiping Caesarea. Remember, they brought him over. If you do not accept Caesarea, you have lost all rights. If you do not do this, we're going to take your land, your children, your wife, your resources, everything, and we're going to put you into slavery. There's your mark that you guys keep talking about is happening right now. Because now, they're saying, if you don't do this, we're going to take away your job. We're going to take away this. What do you guys think you've been doing? You've been doing this to us for hundreds and hundreds of years. This is nothing new. This is what you've been doing. This is your history in Habakkuk 1, 8 through 11. This is exactly what you've done. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. They shall come all for violence. Their faces shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand. And they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it. Then shall his mind change, and he shall pass over and offend, in putting this his power unto his God. See, the Most High gave you your opportunity. He blessed you with the opportunity. But you switched it all up and have been worshiping Satan the whole time and making everybody else do the same. Now let's read it again through the NIV. A little clearer, okay? Their horses are swifter than leopards, fiercer than wolves at dusk. Their cavalry gallops headlong. Their horsemen come from afar. They fly like an eagle swooping to devour. You guys love that eagle, right? That's what you guys love. That's what you guys have put up to represent you, the eagle. They all come intent on violence. Their hordes advance like a desert wind and gather prisoners like sand. That's exactly what you did. You came here and you enslaved the people. You worked them to death. And that's what you did to hundreds of millions, if not billions, of our people. They mock kings and scoff at rulers. They laugh at all fortified cities by building earthen ramps that capture them. They then sweep past like the wind and go on, guilty people whose own strength is their God. Their strength is their God, Satan. Caesarea, white Jesus. The Catholic Church, the Christian Church, the Baptist Church, Jehovah's Witnesses, the Mormon Church. All churches worship Satan and they give him all the credit for the things that they've done. If this is not the history, this is all as Habakkuk 1, 8 through 11, connected with Ezekiel 1 and 4, connected to Revelation 6 and 8. But you guys want to act like all these things are what's happening now. The mark is here now. The mark has been here. We were forced to either accept what you guys said, we accept your God, accept your society, or be killed. And many of our people were killed. Dogs of the Conquest. You can see there was like one book that was still for sale on Amazon for almost $3,000. We're going to read a little bit of this because this shows you, see, in the Dogs of the Conquest, it shows you how the Spaniards were just going from city to city. The kings and the caciques, or the rulers, would try to give the Spaniards gold, give them whatever they want, and the Spaniards could never have enough. They always wanted more. The kings would give them everything, and they would still kill them. The princes would give them everything, and they would kill them. They would try to fight them, and they would be destroyed because they had no power. Just like you're seeing now with the military. You're seeing now with the wars in Afghanistan. You see them because when the Most High takes away that power, there's no strength in them anymore. Dogs of the Conquest right here. We're going to start here at the bottom. Okay. In Panama, a new problem was brewing. As the treatment of Negro slaves became harsher, they began to flee from the towns to form settlements of their own, often being joined by the disgruntled and sympathetic Indians. In these villages, they organized their own government and elected as their king a defiant and spirited Negro named Bayano. See, they hide these stories that, our people actually fought. They actually rebelled. Okay? They even evolved their own form of Catholicism, in which faith, most of them, had been baptized, complete with a bishop and masses. Soon these Negroes attained such power that the governor of Panama was forced to bargain and form treaties with them. Yet they continued to terrorize the towns and countryside with assassinations and robberies, and their number increased daily. At last, in 1556, Andres Hurtado de Mendoza, the Marquis de Cañete, commissioned Captain Pedro de Ursua to pursue, subdue, and punish the Negroes of Bayano, and then establish peace in the land. Ursua accepted the challenge and organized an army of 200 soldiers. In the early part of his campaign, Ursua took occasion to make a bloody example of 6 Negro bandits, whom he had captured. The drama began when the Negroes, stripped naked and provided with small sticks for their defense, were brought to the plaza en nombre de Dios, and their necks were fastened in iron collars. They were exhorted to save their souls by receiving sacraments of confession and absolution. See that? Save your soul. Save your soul and commit to our God. Commit to our God. If you don't, we're going to kill you. There's your mark. Okay, but they refused to abjure the paganism to which they had relapsed. The executioners, incensed by such heresy, unleashed upon the rebels several savage mastiffs. The dogs fell upon the Negroes at once and began biting and tearing at them. And they were incited to even further fury by the pitifully ineffectual efforts of their victims to defend themselves with their flimsy sticks. In the end, when the captives had all been sorely mutilated by the mastiffs, they were taken to the outskirts of the city and hanged on a gallows. Despite such violent countermeasures, 2 more years passed before Usua was able to negotiate a treaty with Bayano. His dogs deserve much of the credit for his success in destroying the elusive Black Empire. But eventually, it was through treachery that he managed to capture Bayano. The citizens of Panama and Nombre de Dios solemnized the occasion with rejoicing and fiestas and gratefully offered Usua gifts and money. The young captain then passed on to Peru during the closing months in 1558 to receive rewards promised by the viceroy, Andres Hurtado de Mendoza. See, this was fulfilling prophecy. The dogs, the beasts, the horses being brought over, the things that happened here in the West, the destruction of, and to as they went to the north and to the south. That was all part of biblical prophecy, the prophecy of Book of Mormon, the second stick, and there's much more. This church that is raised up, the Catholic Church, that's been used to worship Satan and all the other churches. This is prophecy right here. So when you just try to find another black face to kind of roll out there and push your same jargon, it's not going to work. Most High is bringing the people to the truth. If they accept it, that's one thing. If they don't, that's another thing. But at least the truth is out here. So that now, once it gets out here enough, the Most High is going to make his move. And he's going to destroy this place. He's giving you your opportunity to hear the truth. But then eventually, the Most High is going to lose patience. He's going to be done with giving you opportunity, and then the hammer will fall. So you keep on just ignoring our suffering, ignoring all the things that have happened to us. You don't get to just say, yeah, stuff happens, and then move on. That's not how it works. This stuff that happened must be paid for, must be acknowledged, and it's going to be paid for. So again, for the time has come, the judgment must begin at the house of God. And that judgment has happened, has begun. It began a long time ago. Y'all want to act like it's happening now, but this is what has happened a long time ago. Just a little something right now, because this is what you see right now with these other nations, and how they portray themselves as if they're so godly, and they have your best interest at heart. And they're just teaching you, about God and how he loves you all and Jesus, and he just loves you all and wants you all just to have a relationship with him. But they're hiding the history of what they've done in the name of their God. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. The hypocrisy that you love everybody. God loves everybody. That's the stuff that you guys say. And that you love everybody. You want everybody to be saved. You want everybody, to come to the realization and the relationship with Jesus Christ. But you ignore the history of your church. You ignore the history of your countries. You ignore the things that you've done to the Most High's chosen people. That is utter hypocrisy. The wickedness that you've done, the destruction of our families, the destruction of our men and our women and our children, the fact that you've stolen our lands and our resources, and you set up a system that actually kept us down at the bottom. Wickedness, hypocrisy. And then you seem to think that now that the Most High is starting to bring judgment, that you don't deserve it. That you don't deserve the judgment that the Most High is bringing. That is utter hypocrisy and wickedness. Everyone has to pay. We paid for the sins of our fathers. Why do you think that you don't have to? So don't just trot out just anybody. Try to make them look like us and seem to think that that's going to, that's going to appease the people, because it won't. You need to make sure you know who the real ones are, who the ones the Most High has sent, and who's telling you the truth, and who's bringing the receipts and showing you the proof. Not just any Negro will do. That had worked before, but it won't work in these times. All praise is to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.